Morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. It's May 12th today. Um, we have a little bit shorter of a lesson today. I won't talk as long, which I'm sure you'll like that. Hope all of you had a good day yesterday. Some things that I did. I worked out in the morning and then talked to a couple of you, and then I got some schoolwork done. I have some meeting stuff I have to work on. And then once school stuff was done, I took my dogs for a walk, sat out on the deck for a while because it was nice, and did some yard work. So that was my day. Probably be doing the same thing. I have a couple meetings today, but it looks pretty nice outside, so I'll probably be spending some time out there again. So I'm hoping that you all have the opportunity to get outside too, especially when we've been really lucky to have some nice weather. So hopefully you're doing that also. All right, so yesterday we talked about, started a new unit about telling the truth and being honest with ourselves was our lesson yesterday, because it starts with ourselves, and then I'm sure we'll get into lessons about telling the truth with other people too. So this one's going to build on yesterday's lesson with Betsy Bug. I don't know if you remember the story yesterday. She had not learned how to be honest with herself, and she told a couple lies, and then she felt sorry for herself, and those are things that the example was to show you that she couldn't be honest with herself, and that's where it starts. Okay? There are some things that you can do to learn to be more honest with yourself. Betsy was not happy at first, and she didn't know why, but we do. Betsy learned the actions for self-honesty, and we can too. Being honest with yourself means telling yourself the truth about you and the things that happen to you. The truth means something you can count on. Some of the things Betsy learned were, no, we didn't get into there wasn't another part of the story yesterday, but these are things that can help you be honest with yourself. The first one is to like yourself. So you have to like the things that you do, like the choices that you make, and that makes it easier to be honest with yourself about the things that you're doing. And that's an important one. If you get up and you're grumpy and you're mad about yourself and the things that you do and the actions you choose, it makes it a lot harder to be honest with yourself when you make choices. Okay? The second one is to know your strengths and weaknesses. So these are things you're good at, and then things maybe you're not so good at. If you know what you're good at, then you can be honest with yourself about it. But if you, for instance, what's something? Mr. T's not very good at golf. And so I know that, and I'm honest with myself about it. And so I don't tell lies about it, or I don't tell myself I'm really good at this. Okay? So to know what you're good at and to know what you're not so good at, help you to be honest with yourself. Okay? Maybe it's riding a bike. Maybe you're learning how to ride a bike, but you don't know how to do it yet. You shouldn't be going around saying to other people, oh, I know how to ride a bike and I'm really good at it. All right? Because that's not telling the truth. Okay? The next one is to admit your mistakes. Now, this is a big one. I talked about this yesterday. If we do make a mistake, we should be able to tell ourselves that we made a mistake, and it starts with us. A lot of times we have to admit that we made a mistake to other people, but the first person you have to admit that mistake to is you. Otherwise, it's hard for you to tell other people and admit the mistake to other people, and that's a big one. Especially for actions that we choose that aren't great actions. Everyone makes mistakes, and we know that, but it's owning up to those mistakes and admitting that you did you did make a mistake. Okay, that's a big one. Not blaming others. This is another big one. These are the ones I stressed for school a lot. If you do make a mistake, don't blame it on someone else. Okay? If someone asks you what happened, your first response should not be that someone else was to blame for the mistake that you made. Okay? And that happens quite a bit when we're at school. Okay, we're always looking for someone else to blame, and we should be taking ownership of our mistakes, not putting it on someone else. All right, that might be happening at home too with brothers and sisters. The next one is to tell the truth. So when something happens, you have to be honest and tell the truth. That's a pretty easy one. Okay, when we tell the truth, we feel better about ourselves. We know we're not lying. Sometimes when you lie, and I don't know if they'll go into it a little bit more in this chapter, or you don't tell the truth, you kind of get an icky feeling inside, and then it stays with you because you didn't tell the truth. Okay. The next one is to keep your word. All right, and that means that if you say you're going to do something, then you need to do it. Like if you say to your mom, "Yes, mom, I'm going to clean my room," then you need to do that. Okay, you don't keep putting it off, because then that's kind of a form of not telling the truth or lying, because you're not doing what you said you would do. All right, so it's always important to keep your word. And the last one is to not make excuses. And this one happens too sometimes, like the room one, for instance, when you're supposed to be doing a job or supposed to be getting schoolwork done, and you have excuses for why that's not getting done. Well, I had to do this, or I had to make lunch because I couldn't get my work done, or I had something else I needed to do before I could get my room cleaned. Okay? Don't make excuses, just do the job that you said you were going to do. Okay? Or, for instance, a good example of this is if you were to get into an argument with someone at school. All right? Don't say that it was something else that caused that argument. Be honest and don't make excuses for your behavior, okay, or even the other person's behavior. Okay? Just always be honest and tell the person or the people that are involved what really happened. Okay? All right. I know that was a lot of me talking today and probably not very exciting, so but that's it for our lesson today. So I want you to be practicing these things at home. I know we can't practice them at school, but these are all things that you can be doing at home. Liking yourself, knowing what you're good at and what you're not so good at, admitting when you've made a mistake, not blaming other people, telling the truth, keeping your word, and not making excuses for things. Okay? All right. I'm sure you're sick of looking at my face. So I hope you have an awesome day, and we'll see you tomorrow.